Important reminder. When Victorian historians and authors imagined medieval dirty cities with their filthy waste-blocked alleyways, unbearable poverty, disease-ridden slums, animals and pests everywhere, they were talking about their own world. What a self-report. Seriously. The Victorians lived at a time of huge progress, both scientific as well as intellectual. They learned many new things and, to be fair, like most people, considered themselves at the top of human achievement, thus assuming everything before them was so much worse. So if this is the world you see in the slums of your cities, at a time of huge advancements in science and knowledge, you're of course going to assume that things must have been just as bad or even worse in the past. How could they have been better? Well, in many ways medieval cities were indeed better than these Victorian slums, but what I'm mainly trying to show is where the image we've had of medieval cities for such a long time came from. This is the real horror Victorians knew, and they projected it onto the past. Slum tourism was also a thing back then. In most medieval cities you wouldn't be able to ignore or miss the poverty. In big Victorian cities the poor often lived away from the rest of society, much easier to pretend they weren't there, but some went looking for them. It even became a craze. All the fancy folk were doing it. You can almost imagine historians back then going on a tour of the slums and absorbing the sights and smells, only to reproduce them in the books they wrote about the Middle Ages that influenced our ideas for over a century. This is a painting by Bertalan Karslowski. Familiar scene, isn't it? Of course we must take care not to start romanticizing the medieval city. Life there was awful in many ways, just not the way the Victorians imagined it.